What is going on, everybody? I'm going to mute everybody by default, but if you want to chat, if you want to talk, like just unmute yourself just because somebody's in background noise. But we got several people coming in, which is excellent. And you guys came in early, which is exceptional. So, and if you can, not everybody can, throw your, sorry, give me 1 second as I let everybody in. All right, Taylor, I'm making you co-host. Because I might not be able to keep up with everybody coming in. So keep an eye on that. Just admit everybody as they're coming in. But man, it's good to see everybody again. And I have everybody on mute coming in. Just somebody's got background noise. But yeah, hit the space bar, unmute yourself when you need to talk, and feel free to do so at any time. And same thing with chat room and stuff. If you can have your videos on, throw them on. If you don't have any pants on or something like that, you can keep it off. And all right, we got more coming in. There we go. All right, so we got like one after the hour, so I'll probably wait a couple minutes, and just while we let more people come in. But let's get a. I'd like to hear a takeaway or two from the event. Um, I'd say Enrique and Stephanie, what was the takeaway that you guys had from the event?
Hey man, how's it going? I mean, it was a big eye opener for a couple things. One thing that we started to work on immediately, and we'll go over this with our call with you later. But we just started thinking about, all right, what packages can we start putting together, even though we don't have the full structure.
Yeah,
What's with the services that we are currently offering, and just adjusting and tweaking a few things. What what is the high ticket package for us? So on the fly back home and on the drive back to our house, we were able to structure a low tier, medium tier, high ticket price, high ticket packages and everything
nice.
that we can provide and serve. And I mean, really, it's I think we're pretty happy about it. We're just scared because we've never offered it before. Um, we're not scared. I'm not
We're
scared.
nervous because we're in
Yeah.
a small town, so
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
scared about asking for that amount. I'm scared for the follow through because of the team I have. So I need to build some confidence and get them bought into this too.
yeah, absolutely. Because that's if you remember that one slide, that's I'm like, oh great, I made a sale. Crap.
Yeah,
Like now I got to fulfill on this thing, and I might
yeah,
not
right.
feel
yeah,
confident
That's
yet.
that's where our fear is.
Yeah, yeah, and so we'll really hammer that in, like on the
yeah,
fulfillment. Like we want to build it around your team, what they can do, make sure expectations are met, right? All that kind of stuff, because
Right.
that can be a concern, for those of us who have a team that's going to handle a lot of the fulfillment. And then how do we get them bought into it? How do we get them trained up on it? How do we do all that kind of stuff? And so there's different ways that it can be done, and we'll find the best way for your guys' business too.
for
Hey
sure.
We're
Scott, can I
excited
throw
about
something
Yeah,
in on that for
Yeah,
them?
absolutely.
So I own self-made training facility out here in Arizona, and we're all independent contractor based, and we have a high ticket. So what I ended up doing is I ended up moving to a three-tier system. Now, in order to keep my trainers that are currently with me at the high end of that tier, I limited the amount for the lower tiers for them to be in the facility. So
Oh,
it doesn't take away the floor space for my trainers that are paying the full amount. What it does do is makes the other people that need to get up to that full, like for us, it's 24 hours. But for them to get up there, they have to have a certain amount of clients, but it doesn't take away from my trainers that I currently have, right? The new people that come in, they're only allowed limited time inside the facility. So it doesn't hurt the trainers that are here. It just
okay.
gives the new people more um what do you want to say? Like more an incentive to get to those higher tiers.
Right, right.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And he's got a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
unique model too, which is
Yeah.
really neat and a good perspective on that. But that's great. It's I think we all came away with a big takeaway that like, wow, high ticket medical, mentorship, that kind of stuff is one of the easiest, fastest ways to grow and scale. And you know, the difficult thing is I've been doing this for what I'm coming up on like 17 years in the industry. One of the things that I struggle with as an owner is like I could sell nutrition coaching or something like that. I could fulfill it. I could retain them. But when I handed it off to others, it kind of broke down, right? They weren't able to do it well, fulfill it well. And the neat thing about the system that I'll be teaching you guys is that out of all the different things I've tried, right? And this is in lifetime with staff at like 25, but this is also in my individual studios. The system that I have is the easiest way to do it. Like it is the one thing that I've been able to scale to multiple locations over many, many employees. And so it's simple, and simple does scale.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll definitely go through all that. So
Thank you.
Mike, good to see you on, man. All right, so let's get to start building out our 90 days. And guys, that was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had, spending those 2 days with you. That was just absolutely incredible. And as much of a pain in the butt it was organizing that and putting it on and doing the details of my first one, Andy hit me up afterwards. He's like, we have to start doing the next one. I'm like, I know you're right. I just don't want to hear it now, but I totally know you're right. So we're going to start to organize that and everything. But let's see. I'm going to pull it up right now. And it's awesome to see this many of you on in a holiday. That's pretty incredible. So here we go. We're going to pull it up because this is the piece we didn't have time for to get through, but I wanted to finish it out with you guys. And thanks to you guys, just basically everybody who's working with me or has been working with me, just started piping up for 45 minutes. But what a great experience it was, which was awesome to hear and appreciate it. But I wanted to make sure that we get to this. So let's create our next 90-day plan to really move the needle. Now, I'll talk about how I normally do my 12-week, my 90-day planning. But I think for the most of us, it's going to be like, all right, how do we create the action plan that's going to get an extra 50K plus in the next 90 days? Probably utilizing high ticket in some way, shape, or form, whether you're doing the medical weight loss therapy or other things or not. So how many people, throw it in the chat, put a 1 in there if at some point in December or January you've already created your plan for 2026, like you created your annual plan. Who did that? 1, 1, 1, and for like the whole year too. Quite a lot of us, or several of us, anyways. Good, quite a few. So annual planning. There are some problems with it because if you created your annual plan in December or January, based on what you just learned these past couple days, you probably are making some audibles and changes to it, right? Because now you know some different things you didn't know. And so what I like to do, it's okay to have a loose annual plan, but here's the thing with annual plans. They're not actionable. They're not actionable because what do you need to be doing in October? Does anybody know? That plan probably needs to be ripped up and thrown out more than likely for a lot of us. So a lot of times you don't know what the exact action steps you're going to do. So the main thing is sometimes we spend a lot of time creating an annual plan, and then it goes and sits in a drawer that we maybe look at, like we just stumble upon like in July or something like that. Like, oh shit, forgot about that. So what I like to do, it's okay to do that loosely and have some goals. But what I really like to do, yep, Taylor's exactly. You know the deal, is you made your annual goal. What you can do in 12 months, start looking at that in 12 weeks. Start looking at that in 12 weeks. So annual planning is not very actionable. It doesn't create urgency either. So urgency is what drives a lot of results. So originally I was going to run this summit with somebody. They had to back out of it. Okay. So all of a sudden my time to be able to put this on collapsed, and I had to hustle and I had to act with urgency, and it ended up all coming together and we pulled off an amazing event, didn't we? So like that was really cool, but it's the urgency getting closer to the event that drove that. So a lot of times with annual stuff gets pushed to the side. It doesn't always produce the change we want, and we don't often follow through on it. So this is something I got from the 12-week year, which is, it just really changed my thinking, And it's like, yeah, let's look at 12 weeks at a time, one quarter. There's 13 weeks in a quarter. Try to plan to get everything done in 12. That way you can take a week to breathe and plan out your next quarter on that 13th week. But a 12-week plan can be actionable. You can't let things go for a few months before you tackle it. It does create urgency. You can use it every single day, and it's much more effective at producing the change that we want. And then like the follow through and the accountability really accelerates on it too. So I really like doing like thinking of it like a 12-week year. And that really helped visualize that for me. And it's a great book too. So we're going to create our 12-week year is what we're going to do. And the important thing is, as you guys know, is like really think about what's your why. It's just good to pause and connect with that because business is difficult. We have to take risks, both with time and with money. It's scary. We'd rather just stay comfortable than grow. All valid. But the main thing is like, what's that why for you guys? Why are you doing what you do? What kind of a life do you want to live? Right? I shared a lot of this. My why is you guys. You guys know I've been through hell and back with everything and been through the scariest of times, but I've been lucky enough to get through it. And helping you guys through that is the coolest thing ever. I work more now than I have in a long period of time, but it's because I choose to. It's because I enjoy this stuff. It gives me so much happiness to help you guys bridge this kind of a gap too. And so that's mine. And ultimately, as you guys know, a life of freedom is my core desire. I get to provide value to the world in a way that engages me and I love it. I get to have freedom and I can travel and I can spend time with my families and have security abundance, right? So when we create our 12-week plan, it can get really complicated because all our businesses have a lot of things that we need to get better on, right? We talked about building your dream business, which is a marriage of the making the money that you need to make, managing your time, how you want to manage your time, and having some purpose with it. So there's a lot of things. Things either fall under we need to make your model more winnable. Maybe that is with high ticket offers. Maybe that is bolting on medical wellness, something like that, so we can win the game easier. Or it could be we got to really focus on acquisition, right? Sales, leads, nurture, all that, getting them across. Could be you have a bit of a leaky bucket. Your retention is an issue. And what things can we do there? Or you might need a team to help you scale, and that team has to run simple systems, and then your higher level CEO skills. So we all have some you can notice as you're looking at this for your business. You're like, yeah, I'm kind of weak there. I'm kind of weak there. Definitely. And the main thing is you don't need to focus on everything at once. It's not sequential. The main thing is to, number one, identify your bottleneck. What's holding you back the most? And start there. Number two, looking at that bottleneck and what are the strategies and tactics that we can do to overcome that? And keeping in mind, what is the easiest, most simple strategy to clear that bottleneck? What is that? And sometimes if it's like, man, marketing, paid ads in my market sucks, that could be the case. Sometimes it's not necessarily solving that, but like, yeah, if we have a high ticket, mid ticket thing, we raise that average client value, double it over the next several months. I win the game. I need a quarter of the amount of leads I needed. That could be the easiest way, right? Maybe if it's staffing, you are the bottleneck. You may be the bottleneck and you may need to clear that. So what is the easiest, simplest way I can find that one key person that's going to help me buy back that time, right? But main thing is it's different for everybody. It's different at every stage, which is yours. But identify it, find the easiest way to clear that, and then just commit to executing that strategy. And that's where we're going to, it's not just enough to list it on paper. Let's just identify those action steps. But the main thing is this is where it gets really smart. If you have a profit predictor like this, sometimes what you think the problem is not the real problem. And I do this all the time when I look and forecast out 12, 24, 36 months with somebody's data. It's like, oh, we thought the problem was X, but it's actually Y. So we do want to look at data to drive decisions, not feelings and emotions or assumptions. And then when we create our 12-week year, what we really want to look for is, hey, what are the easiest, simplest things that we can do. What's going to take 20% of the efforts, but get us 80, 90% of the way there, right? So in general, that's how we want to craft our plans. Obviously at the summit, we really talked about high ticket, mid ticket. We talked about medical weight loss. And I think a lot of us realize if there's one thing that could really help catapult us to the next level, it's learning how to implement that in the right way with your business, your offers, and put it all together, right? So for simplicity's sake, today, let's build out one thing. I don't like focusing on more than one or two outcomes in a 12-week annual plan. Okay. I like just one or two main things to focus on. So today, let's figure that out. Okay. So you guys had these. So Gym Profit Summit in here, this is at the back. Here's our guide, right? So in the back, you can start doing this. And for those of you joining who might not have it on hand, I'm going to copy and paste this, or who want it digitally. I'm going to copy and paste this. Don't try to edit it. I just threw it in the chat. Don't try to edit it. Go to File, make a copy. That way it's yours. You can keep it as a template. You can do it. I like to kind of handwrite some of these things, but it's up to you. And this is something, even if you do it on the computer, which I'll usually handwrite some of it and I'll transfer it, but print it out. This should be on your desk. You should be looking at this all the time. Every week, you should be crossing items out. Okay. So first, let's take a look at your vision. So this is just connect with your why a little bit. Okay. So you're just going to take a couple minutes. I'm going to get my phone and put a timer on. And I'm going to have you write out like your long-term aspirational vision. It could be fuzzy, but think about as far as you can, 5, 10, 15, even 20 years in the future. What does your life look like for you to be happy with it, with your progress? What are some of the things that you're doing? What are some of the things that you're not doing? What might you be making? How might you be spending your time? What adventures do you want to go on with your friends or your family? So I'm going to put a little timer on my phone just so I can keep track of how long I'm giving you. But throw in the chats, just type a 1 once you kind of finish. Once some of you finish, I'll get an idea of that too. And again, you can go back and do this more, right? More in depth, but let's just get it done now. Pencil it in. I like to zoom out before I zoom in. This helps you connect with your why. And yeah, just throw a 1 in there when you finish up. Thank you, Joseph. When's the last time some of you have thought about this too? Not something we always do. Good. Couple more done. Few more done. Excellent. Okay. Once you finish up with that, Then start looking. So that's a little bit fuzzy when we go into the future that far, right? We don't always know. We have an idea, right? We don't know how we're going to get there, and that's totally okay. You don't need to know how you're going to get there. And also don't limit yourself. Sometimes we don't think bigger because we're not sure if it can be done. Don't worry about the how. Just worry about what you would want. And for a 3 year, I mean, if the 5, 10, 15 years is in the future is a little fuzzy, when we bring it down to 3 years, like 2, 3 years, what does success look like in your personal and professional life? Personal and professional. That can get a little bit more clear when we think 2, 3 years in the future. So, right age that you'll be, and in order for you to feel happy and move the needle, what does success look like in your personal and your professional life? So we should be zooming in a little bit further and a little bit more clear on exactly what we want. Keep in mind, you don't have to justify anything to anybody. You can want what you want, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like you guys know, I'm not a big car guy. I don't like the flashy stuff, but if you want the G-Wagon, if you want the whatever, just write it down. You don't need to feel guilty for anything. You don't need to justify anything. It's okay to just want what you want. And if you feel comfortable, you can share some of it in the chat too. Another thing I love to do, and the reason I do this every 12 weeks is because your life changes. Um, as you guys know, right? My life has changed a lot in just a span of a few years, right? And going from bankruptcy attorneys' offices to being a gym owner to having 5 of them to nearly losing them to figuring out high ticket to then coaching it, then handling the well stuff. And it's been crazy. I couldn't have my 5, 10, 15 year vision is totally wrong. I didn't know it was even possible, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. And when revisiting this is great. You can really keep yourself on track as you evolve as a person. You learn skills and ideas that you had no idea existed. This is why a lot of you have to throw your 12-month annual plan out the window already because you just picked up and learned things that you did not know more than a few days ago. Okay, throw some ones in there or just put one aspect of your 3 year vision when you're done. Julie, finish. Thank you. Finished. Excellent. Julie wants to have 3 short-term rentals, 1 down, 2 to go. Excellent. Excellent. I love short-term rentals, especially in places where you want to be at too. You could be local, whichever. But it's a lifestyle asset too. I wouldn't mind getting one in like Florida, one in Colorado. Open a 3rd location in Colorado so you can travel back and forth from AZ to Colorado. Yeah, that's excellent. One local. Yep. Love it. 6 to 10, Mike. Yeah. 6 to 10 gyms for Mike. He wasn't able to make it to the event, guys. I really wanted several of you to meet him, but he's the one who did just with mentorship. And again, it wasn't strictly 8 weeks. We took a little bit longer because he had a bigger list that we didn't want to overwhelm the staff. But he did over 100 grand in high ticket new business within a few months. And he's got some big, big, big aspirational vision. That's awesome. Joseph, so that's awesome. So your wife doesn't have to work and raise the kids. Excellent. That's a really good that's a really good vision. That's a really good compelling reason why you're doing this stuff. That's what it is. Know why you want it. You'll be much more likely to get it done. Okay. So we will move on. So does anybody get really confused sometimes? You've heard of like the analogy with if you're going to try and fit everything in and you put in the big rocks first and then you put in the pebbles and then you put in the sand, then you put in the water so everything fits in the jar or the bottle, right? But if you've ever gotten caught up in planning, it's difficult to know what is the objective versus what's just part of the action plan and I get really confused on that. It seems very straightforward when you're reading a book on it, and then when you do it on paper, you're like, is that the main objective? Is that the measurable? Is that the action? Is that the goal? Is that the step? I don't know. So let's simplify all this. And I get caught in the weeds, and there's no reason to get caught in the weeds. At the end of the day, we're not doing anything unless we want to achieve a certain outcome. Unless we want to achieve a certain outcome. So think of that instead of goal or priority. Because what is the goal versus what's a priority versus what's an action step? So think of what you really want done. And let's make this very simple for all of us. Because typically if it's business, I don't overall in 12 weeks, I don't like more than 3 things total with everything I'm doing. Maybe 1 or 2 business and 1 or 2 personal. You focus on too many things in a short period of time, nothing gets done. Can anybody done that, right? 100 times over. So let's just make it very simple. And that desired outcome for business, the desired outcome isn't to add a high ticket thing on or this or that. The desired outcome really is you using either revenue or profit, whichever, right? That's what we're trying to do in business. So, and again, you can do something else too. Like maybe you have another outcome we want, which is, hey, I need to add in a sales manager. I need to get somebody on the floor so I get off, whatever it is. But let's go with that. Let's all assume and take right now your desired outcome is in the next 90 days, the next 12 weeks, next 13 weeks, increase your revenue. You can use profit if you want to do the advanced math, but for simplicity, just do revenue by X amount, right? I want to add X amount in new business, right? It could be, I want to add $50,000 in new business in the next 12 weeks, right? So Brian on the call, right? He obviously did a 25K package, immediately got a phone call from his buddy. That's going to be another 50K is not enough for some of you, right? So insert your number. But how much extra revenue or new business do you want to add in the next 90 days, next 12 weeks? So write that out nice and clear. And a lot of us make that into like 4 action stuff. Oh, I'm going to launch this. Then I'm going to do this marketing campaign, this. And a lot of it just doesn't get it. So simply what we want is that money. I don't care how it comes in, guys. But I want it to come in. That's what we're going for. And then what constraints or obstacles are holding you back? What's holding you back? It could be you just have commodity offers, right? You don't have a higher ticket, a more winnable game to play. It could be, you don't have the capacity to handle enough sales calls and you need a setter or you need a closer or a salesperson. It could be, when you're active on social media, you get leads, but you're having a hard time keeping that up sometimes. It could be paid ads suck in my market. There could be a lot. But remember, we have to clear the constraints and the bottlenecks to move on. And you don't have to rank and prioritize here. This is just getting your brain going, brainstorming. Some of it is you just don't know how to do something. I lack the knowledge in how to do X, Y, or Z. Yeah, Julie, yours is lead flow. You're 100% close rate when you get on a call. Yep. Yep. And so let's go down to the next question. And let me know if I'm moving too fast for anybody too. What can I do to overcome these? It doesn't necessarily mean you need to have all the answers. You might not have all the answers, or you might have some of it. Sometimes the first step is, hey, I got to call this person and figure out what they would do, or I have to hire this person, or I've got to research this. But usually, this is a who problem. Instead of you burning hours and hours and hours trying to figure something out that you don't know, well, just go and ask somebody who's already done it, right? So, what can I do to overcome those constraints or obstacles holding you back? And who do I know who can help? And again, let's say you're doing great on social media, but you just lack the time and ability to follow up. A question to ask is, yeah, who do I know who has a good system for that? And who can I hire to help out with that? Sometimes it's a who can I hire? And throw some ones once you kind of jot down your ideas too, just so I know if I'm not moving too fast. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Yeah, sometimes you need to get your team educated. Like that's a bottleneck. Like if you're just bolting on like medical weight loss or peptides, I know in my personal gyms, I need one of the obstacles, I need my staff trained up on it. Because they're not gonna sell shit unless they feel comfortable and confident on it. I could go in there, I could rip out 50K in a few weeks with that email list and some conversations, right? But my bottleneck is I gotta work through my operators. So think of all the things that could potentially hold you back. And it's not that you're going to solve all of them or you can solve all of them in this 12 weeks. That's not necessarily the case. But at least you're writing them down, you're aware of them. Some are going to be a now thing, some are going to be a later thing. There's no right or wrong answers to these. Just let the thoughts flow and write them down. Okay. How we doing? Are we doing pretty good on just brainstorming some of that? The obstacles and what can I do to overcome them? Some ideas? Okay. So let's move on. What are the key one-time and recurring actions that I need to take? What are the key one-time and recurring actions that I need to take? So these are going to be your action steps. Now, we're just brainstorming at this point. So we don't have to rank or prioritize or put due dates on them. So if you don't know how to do something, figure out where you go to learn it or who you go to learn it from, right? In some cases, a lot of you have decided, yeah, I need to go through your high ticket stuff and start working with you to learn the nuts. It'll be the fastest accelerator to get all the winning strategies on what works, right? For some of you, it's going to be something different, but that could be a thing. The first thing I start looking to is what don't I know and who knows it and can point me to the right book or the course or just a quick phone call, or maybe I start working with somebody who knows that. Sometimes you just got to ask AI. One of the things you might need to do is ask some AI stuff. If you got to hire, hey, what are the best places, best sources, right? So sometimes you got to spend a little bit of time figuring out and dialing things in. Julie, I'll always hire people smarter than me. Best business tip, yeah, without a doubt. right? You guys know I've spent an ungodly amount of money on this kind of stuff, but as a direct result, it's moved me along a lot faster. Other one time. So sometimes things are one time, right? If we're trying to increase revenue and it's you the one selling it, recurring actions. What are recurring actions? How many people devote time, they time block once a week or once a day or something like that to do lead gen or follow-ups? Taylor, you do it? Excellent. That is a recurring action. You're like, hey, weekly, I need to make 50 calls. Or maybe I need to get somebody on my team to make those 50 calls. So sometimes actions are one time. I got to learn this. I got to follow along with that. Sometimes they're recurring. Sometimes things are weekly, sometimes things are monthly. Taylor, can you give some examples? Can you write some examples for people or some of the stuff that you're contemplating on doing for yours in the chat? Or you can just say it too.
For one of my goals, you mean, or for what?
For some of your one-time and recurring actions that you're taking.
Yeah, so I was just writing down for like Asher Med, for example, for the that's one of our outcomes for Q1 that we want to get is launching the medical weight loss programs or medical wellness programs.
Mm-hmm.
So like a one-time thing would be like an internal launch. So we're going to do a podcast this week and educate what we're doing, why we're doing it, why we chose Asher, etc. Really get some energy and excitement behind it. And then obviously on a weekly basis, we're going to do organic and email marketing to educate more. And then obviously have value posts and content with soft call to action, like, hey, if you want to learn more, would be happy to chat with you, right? So that'd be like two examples of a one time and then a recurring.
Awesome. Yeah, this is where the rubber hits the road, right? And again, we're brainstorming at this point. So it's not to be perfect, but the idea is that we're getting the ideas out. We're getting the ideas out. And then we're going to organize them and put them into our 12-week plan, our 12-week year plan. But just really rethink like, man, it doesn't take a year to improve your revenue by 15%. You know what I mean? Like that's what businesses said. We'll improve by 10 to 15% this year. It doesn't drive any action. It's not big enough. It's not sexy enough. And then you just wait forever and maybe you get the stuff later. You find the plan in November, like, oh shit, maybe we better hustle up and do something. 12 weeks. You'll move further faster and just start brainstorming what are those key action items. And then let's connect it to be excited about it. So this last question on the sheet, what will I have to gain by achieving this outcome? Because again, this is where we're going to tie these action steps that we may or may not want to take. Some of them might be uncomfortable. If you don't really do get personal on your emails and social media, you're not a big life sharer. That was me, guys. Before I started doing business coaching, I was a ghost on social media. A ghost. So I was late into the game. And I was complaining about it. One of my clients, Taryn, the one who was doing the executive offers to me 90 grand in a year from two people, she was the one on a call when I was bitching about it. She was the one who really hit me hard on it because I was complaining about posting and all that kind of stuff and using social media because I just wasn't that guy. But then she just goes, yeah, but Scott, it's not about you. And I'm like, holy shit. You are so right. It's about you guys. Like, how am I supposed to help you guys if I'm not willing to just get on social media? And it just totally reframed that. Because my outcome is I want to help more of who I used to be and the difficulties I had. Yeah, I'm going to have to post on social media. I didn't like it at first, but you know what? I actually don't mind it now. And as things have progressed, I've learned more and more and more. And I've actually made it a system where I don't really have to do a whole ton, which is great. But what do you have to gain by achieving this outcome? Tie that to why we're doing this, right? And then the other question is, what will my commitment cost to be to see this through? Because the bottom line is we can sit here and craft a plan, But whether it happens in week 1, 2, 3, 4, there's shit we got to do that we don't want to do. We know to commit to actually achieving the outcome, it is going to take time. It's going to take effort. It might make us uncomfortable. Maybe for some of you have a clear opportunity to go one to many on a webinar or a live seminar or get yourself out there. That might terrify you. But that might be the number one thing to get you to your outcome. So yeah, you're going to have fear. You're going to have some insecurity. It might cost you time. It might cost you money. But is it worth it? Yes, Julie. Usually the thing I don't want to do the most is the thing that moves the needle the most. Exactly. Another way I usually think about it, whatever I'm scared about the most is usually what I need to be doing. And that's what it is. Typically, if something's scary or we have fear with it, we avoid it and put it off. And quite often, those are the things that move the needle. I am completely guilty on that. I have been fearing putting on an event forever. What if nobody shows? It's a very real possibility that you go through all this trouble and there's like 9 people in there, right? But I just decided to do it. Ripped off the Band-Aid, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Thanks to you guys. So good. So we have some of this, and can I just show something? This just happened this morning. So you guys know Matt Weaver, right? I think Matt's probably on the call if he can make it, if he didn't have an appointment. But you guys know Matt Weaver. He spoke on stage and everything. This is really cool because remember how we talked about Noam, who works with me? He's adding on medical weight loss through Asher. And I talked on stage that, hey, what if I came out against this before, pretty strong, and what to do and how to talk about it if you're a believer in it now. Well, look what can be done with this kind of stuff in a high ticket offer, because I'm helping Matt obviously with his high ticket offers because he's a gym owner too, if you remember. But look at what he wrote this morning. This, okay? So he shared a bit of his story being the fat guy, being the obese guy, right? For all his life, starting as a kid, and his situation, grew up in a rough, rough childhood. But he just talked about his story a little bit, and he's been a gym owner for several years, and he kind of talked about it and how, the struggles with it, and now he's going to come out and admit that this is a useful tool and so on and so forth. He's not even making a strong ask on this, but he's saying the medicine by itself is not the only story either, right? It's not the magic bullet. You have to do the other things. And he's sharing the fact that he's using and putting out there. Look at this. He posted this morning. It's got 114 or what plus 3, 117 things of engagement. One of them was me. 48 people have commented already. 48 people have commented already. And it's going to be so easy. I mean, I bet you his emails and DMs are flooding to get people on this. It can be as easy as this kind of stuff. So, and again, that's where I'll help you out with all the launch stuff, of course. I'll help you out with doing all of that, learning what to do. But bottom line is, let's just go. Let's move. The whole point of a 12-week annual plan is to move and get out of the way. Get yourself out of the way. Don't let yourself hold you back. So that's exactly what I want you to do. On this last page, forget outcome 2. On this last page, oh, I got it down here. Sorry, I'm online where you guys have the other one. Matt, you're on it. Matt is on the call. We literally have people on the gym floor right now asking me how and what the next steps are. He made that post this morning. He's in the gym today. How do I buy your sheet? Like, let's go, guys. Let's go. Okay. So this page is, you're going to have this in your guide. This is where, and you might want to do some of this offline because we only have 15 minutes left. So we brainstormed on the previous document. What are some key one-time and recurring actions I need to take? What you're going to do, which we don't have to do right now, is you're going to organize these. It doesn't have to be 12. You might only have 5 things that you need to do. Okay. But there's room, but write out your outcome. This is what needs to live. You better print this shit out. Now, granted, if you're using the Profit Summit guide, you got it right there. But this needs to be on your desk, and you need to look at it every day, and you need to cross it out. So some of you already taken the first one, is set up a time to talk to Scott or Andy, or sign up for their stuff. Do week 1, right? Some of you, that's not an action step. Sometimes you have the one-time only things, but sometimes you have recurring, right? So yes, Andy, you said posting content content is huge too. I saw that up there. Highly recommend time blocking that out. Some of you can't prep that well because you're getting into it, you're starting habits. So maybe it's like every Monday or every Friday, right? Write and schedule social media content, right? And what you're going to do, when is it due? Weekly. You're going to do that every Friday, okay? Maybe you have to be like, I need to follow up with X amount of leads or make X amount of calls. That would be a weekly thing. There's some things that you might only need to do monthly or twice a month, okay? You're going to do it every Tuesday, whatever it is. Those are the recurring ones. And then you're going to have your one-off ones that you write in here. Especially those one-off ones, what you're going to do, like this thing is due by week 3, right? By week 8, you're going to write this email, or you're going to do that one thing, or you're going to hop on a call with somebody to look at ads, whatever it is. But the whole point is this should be on your desk, and you are crossing this out as you go along. This is meant for action. We don't plan and put it in a drawer. It's not what we do. And if you build a 12-week plan every quarter, and listen, you might only get 80% of it done. If you get 80% of it done consistently, do you have any idea where you're going to be a year from now? Holy shit. You don't need to be perfect. You don't abandon this because you're falling behind. And in fact, your next 90-day plan is going to be even better than this because you'll have gone through it and you'll know, hey, I put too much on my plate. Less is more. Or this or that, right? If you're bolting on high ticket medical, and you're working with me and Andy and Taylor, right? We'll help craft a lot of these action steps with you. We'll be directing what you need to do this week and next week and the week after. So we'll be working along with you, with your business. But you don't need to fill this whole sheet up with stuff. Less can be more. Think the Pareto's principle, right? The 80-20 rule. What are the 20% of inputs that I can do that will yield 80, 90+% of my results? The minor shit that you need to do, don't put it on this thing. You put on all these things on here, the tough, scary things are the first ones you're not going to do. Am I right? So you're going to organize these and put them like your recurring stuff up top if you can, or at the bottom, whichever. And then the stuff that's due at week 2 or week 6, try to space things out a little bit. If you stack it too tight together, you'll be likely to fall behind. So give yourself room. We all know this is great, but you got day-to-day stuff to do, right? Stuff comes up. We're going to have to do tax stuff coming up. So don't overload the plate. Stick to the 80-20 rule. And what I like to do, because this really needs to be on your desk every damn day. Every week you need to look at it when looking at your week. Every day you should be looking at it. I like to put little footnotes down here. What do you stand to gain? Just like, hey, and this is for the outcome. So let's say your outcome is $50,000 in new business this next 90 days, or it's $100,000 in new business in the next 90 days. What do you stand to gain from that, achieving that outcome? Damn, that's good to see. Like, oh, I can clear out all of my credit card debt, and we can take that trip, and I can hire that person to hand off those duties that I don't want to do anymore so I can work on the business instead of in the business. And then again, I like to kind of have a footnote on what will I need to overcome. What is going to get in my way and prevent me from doing this? Fear? Scarcity mindset? If you got to run ads, like man, I panic every time I run ads because I feel like I'm flushing money down the toilet. Fear, scarcity, maybe you got to get out of your comfort zone. But it's good to have that right there too, because you're going to have these feelings every single day and week at some point. And it's good to look at what you're going to gain by pushing through it and realize, yeah, this is coming in your way. You know that this is going to provide resistance. So those are just good to have on hand because it helps drive me when I have fear creep in. Okay. Now the last thing, and you don't have to finish this right now because you might need you brainstorm, you might need to toss some things around, right? So don't worry about getting this all done right now. There is another little scorecard on here for those of you who have daily and weekly actions that you need to take and you want to create some clarity around that and just have like and this helps for your team too. But I like to this, you don't have to do this, guys, but this is more for your day-to-day operations because there's a lot of things in business other than the big things that we're planning. There's a lot of things that need to be done. So I typically like to put daily, weekly, and monthly tasks in there and then just X the boxes. I don't know if do I have this one in the thing? Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. So it's on the back page too. So you have that if there's anything you want to do. And you can use this for your own personal stuff too, right? If you want to do daily movement or you want to work out 3 times a week or whatever it is, you can just throw those in there and track your personal stuff as well. That's typically what I do. I look at this from a lifestyle standpoint. What do I need to do on a daily, weekly basis? Daily, weekly, monthly, excuse me. And yes, Julie, you're exactly right. Your brain gives you that hit of dopamine when you check something off on the list. So this is kind of this is similar to what I built for you guys for all the high ticket mentorship stuff, right? To change the habits. And those of you joining the system, you can do it on here, or you can use the transformation program I have set up too on Google Sheets. Last thing too, if you have ideas, we all do. As entrepreneurs, we have more ideas in our head than we have time to execute them on. And so that's it. When we look at the next 12 weeks, we're just doing what is that 20% that's going to yield all the results. You might have some amazing ideas. They're not a now idea though. They're later. So I have this last tab on here, just ideas to consider in the future. Like you might need to write a book or I need to start a podcast. And that could be phenomenal ideas that can move your business forward, but they're not a right now thing. I just like to jot them down. Because for my next 90-day plan, does that go on that one so I don't forget it? Or does that get kicked down a little bit further too? We all have more ideas than we have time to implement for sure. Make sure I got through everything. I think I did. I'll stop sharing in a second and we can get to it. But the main thing, guys, is like stagnation, staying the same, which in this industry, I feel if you're going to stay the same, you're probably going to be declining over years. Things are changing rapidly. They're getting more competitive. The last couple years for brick and mortar gyms, at least, has gotten a lot more difficult. Like you just got to make the decision to change and go for it. The only thing holding most of us back is ourselves. It's our own unwillingness to change, to grow, to take the risks, and to put in the work. So, and for those of you who need this is where you can get 30 minutes with us if anybody needed it with that code right there that hasn't already done it. That being said, after this call, it might take you a little bit more time to sort through your brainstorming and put in that actionable plan. But, who has something that they want to share about it? Whether it's their outcome or like what they learned from it, or did anybody get clarity from this? Yeah? Joseph, what was yours?
I'm just standing in the way of what I need, It's like it's one of those things where you just like you know what you need to do. Just like it's nice to lay them out into repeatable actions and one-time actions that are like, okay, if I'm not doing this, do I really want it, right?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Robert, anything that stand out for you in this, whether you want to share an outcome or one of the action steps or anything?
Yeah, it's really gonna, I think, first of all, good exercise to go through and keep doing every 3 months. But with regard to the AfterMed stuff, I think this will help kind of bring some clarity to the action steps.
Mhm.
Because it is kind of a big lift right in the beginning, and you're like, I don't know this, I don't know this, I don't know this. So this will help kind of put together an action plan. I think that'll help myself and our team get this thing rolled out.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, it's just being very strategic. I
Yeah.
mean, there's, as an entrepreneur, it's like there's all these things we could and should do. It's a giant mess. Let's sift through the bullshit and just boil it down to the essentials that's going to move us forward. Period. That's what we've got to do. It's a mess up there, you know? And I mean, that's why I have a coach, you know what I mean, to help get some clarity on some of this stuff. It can be difficult. There's just so many things out there. And what inevitably we lose sight of are the core things we need to do to really get to where we want to be. Those are the first things dropping off. Julie, you had some good comments. You know, is there anything you can share? I know your video's off, so I don't know. Maybe, or maybe I just can't see it. Yeah, I can't see everybody for some reason, but
I was like, I'm here. I'm just really excited to be a part of a group of just amazing entrepreneurs. And I know that there's areas I'm basically like, hurry up and just do it without a plan. And
Mhm.
it just helps to kind of focus those ideas. And I completely agree with you. It's like I've made so many 1 year plans that just don't get executed. And then come October, I'm like, all right, we're at the end of the year. What are we going to do? Which is why you saw that scholarship on my Facebook page. I was like, I mean, that hammered out like an extra 30 grand in business right there. So I think that a
Yep.
lot of the strategies that you do, and I signed with you on Friday, so I'm just like sitting there waiting for
Yeah.
like next steps. I'm like, I'm ready, let's go, put me in the race. I'm just really excited to be a part of this. And also that everybody here has just such different business models. And I really like to connect, and it's hard being an entrepreneur because I mean, I'm here or I'm at the gym and that's basically it. And it's hard for me to find other like-minded people. So I'm just excited to be a part of this kind of new community, honestly, and to learn from other people. And I also like to share things that have worked for me because I'm very similar. I just want everybody to win. I want everybody to be successful. And there's enough people on this planet that need our help. And I think that we can all just like learn from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Angela said it best. Amen. That's it. And that's one of the coolest things because there's gym owners, there's independent personal trainers, there's online coaches, there's med spa owners, there's a lash studio who's like all these different things. And one of the greatest things ever is the cross-pollination in different businesses. I tell you what, you go to like other ones just doing the gym business mentorship, they're all teaching the same shit. They've never gotten outside of that silo. And there's so much value of taking something from this type of business or industry and inserting into another one. That cross pollination is massively beneficial in the most unexpected ways sometimes too. And yeah, I mean, we're talking about, so I didn't take a look and open up any of those letters yet. And it's because you guys know, went late on Friday, and a few of the people one-on-one we had over at my house. I didn't have time to get everybody who signed up and an invite and all that kind of stuff, but Taylor and Kai and a few other guys came over and we just got to hang out and spend time together, go to dinner, all that kind of stuff. And being around other entrepreneurs is absolutely amazing because we all have friends that have jobs, of course, but man, they just don't, we don't connect on the same level, right? They don't know unless you're in it, taking the arrows, right? And getting bloody and not having safety nets and backups and all the worry and all that kind of stuff. It's hard to relate to other people sometimes. They just, on that level anyways. And there's a lot of value in just, yeah, meeting and being in front of a group of other people with the similar challenges
Very much so.
and just similar mindsets, right? We want to grow. We all want to grow in a lot of different ways. Whereas other people are just fine to clock in, clock out.
Yep.
That's just not, I can't. That's why I got a hat up there that says worst employee ever, right? It's just, we want freedom. You know what I mean? And we want to spend our days how we want to spend our days. We want to build awesome stuff, right? So yeah, thank you for saying that. That's very well said. Okay, guys, that's what I had for you today. We're coming up right on the hour. So really fine tune and organize that in here. Organize those main action steps. And I just want to see execution. Messy execution sometimes. Don't think perfect. Just send it, right? Matt just ripped out that email this morning. He's got people raising their hands, not shaking them down when he walks in the gym, right? I mean, there's no reason we can't all be doing this. So clear those bottlenecks and move fast. Like a lot of times we just doubt what we can do. So we set small, shitty goals. It's better to set them bigger, even if you miss. You know, I mean, we're entrepreneurs. So we've already taken the biggest risk of all, right? So why stop there? Let's keep going big. And you do that 12 weeks at a time, damn. You got a different life in a year. So we didn't give Taylor time on the floor yesterday with at the end, but he wanted to kind of share too. Do you have a minute to just share kind of what you were going to say?
You want me to share like at
What
the
you
end of
said
December,
were,
I mean?
yeah, I wouldn't shut up
Yeah.
enough, and you were trying to
So
say it, but I didn't give you time.
yeah, I had a couple pointers for everybody too. But yeah, I'll kind of tell a little bit of my story because obviously Andy got to tell his. And I told Scott this at the bar later on, but I owe him a lot. Like this guy changed my life. So I signed up in 2022 and I did the high ticket launch. And mind you guys, like I'm in a population of 2,500 people. I'm in a super small town in Sandusky, Michigan, is what it's called. There's not another gym in a 20-mile radius, so I've got 24-hour, I've got group personal training, and then we plugged in this high ticket mentorship. And I'm like, I'm pretty good at sales, and I've been doing this a while, but like, is this actually going to work in my industry, in my little population? And um, it did take a little bit to get the high ticket, but we were pumping out tons of the mid ticket offer. I was gaining a lot of confidence, conviction, and then we started to really take off with it. And I think by the end of the year, we increased our recurring revenue by about 4 to 5 grand, and we did like anywhere from 50 to 60K in new business and just mentorships in the first year. In a town of 2,500 with an average household income of about 45, 50,000. So it can be done anywhere is kind of the point to that. And the other thing is I just showed up to every single call and I did everything Scott pretty much said. He taught me how to set up a high yield savings account. My wife and I funded that and we were able to buy our property and now we're building our dream home. This year we're going to get to move in a couple months here. I also started my infinite banking policy. There's just been so many different things that he's helped me do, and I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And part of it is showing up to calls like this, like we were saying earlier, like as gym owners specifically, or even just in the health and fitness industry, we're kind of isolated and alone a lot. We don't really have anybody to talk to, right? And so we can lose motivation, right? And that's what's important about like these 12-week quarterly plans is we need to have this to keep us on task. But I'm here to tell you, at least for me, like my motivation dips every quarter. I know it and I can see it coming. Every quarter, I need something to pump me back up. So that's why it's great to plan one quarter and then it's like, okay, let's plan the next quarter. We need something to get us energized back up, right? But at the same time, you need to connect with other gym owners and other people in the industry. And so that's what's great about these calls. Or if you just found a friend that you could chat with every month or every couple months, like that's going to make a massive difference in your business and help you achieve those goals. So there's my preach slash story.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's incredible. Like in a town to know the numbers that he does overall in a town of 2,500 people, it's ridiculous. I mean, and that's I mean that's including infants, right? And people are 95. Like it's pretty ridiculous what he's done in that size of a town that's not even a wealthy place. And it's isolated. You got to drive miles and miles and miles to get the next closest place. It's just awesome. So yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. I wish you would have been able to come out, but I'll get the recordings together. The videographer, I don't know how long it's going to take for him to kind of get things up, but I'll get that up and process where you guys have access to it as well. So I appreciate you guys coming on. And Summer, I got to chat with you too. So what I'm going to do, it's going to be the same link actually, but we'll hop off so everybody exits and then we'll chat in 20 seconds. But yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody. And we'll talk soon.